A soft life promo for 2022, this period of the Yuletide by Mahab Beach Resort, and it's how they're telling you to start booking from now to the 15th of December. You stay for one night and get the second night for free in a standard room with free airport pickups on weekends, and all you need to do is to just pay some 4,200 Ghana cedis for two persons, and if you're just one, 2,750 Ghana cedis for a person. And the packages all include meals. That'll be breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Free airport pickup services from Friday to Sunday. And all these are inclusive. 10% discount on spa services, free upgrade from standard rooms to standard sea view rooms from Monday to Thursday, subject to availability. As you also catch a movie at the great cinema they have, whether in the morning or in the evening or any part of the day, and also enjoy the swimming pool, gym, snooker, and volleyball. You also get an upgrade of room available on request at a fee with terms and conditions all applying. Just in case you want to contact them, very easy to do so through the number 050-157-0684 or 030-3977-773 for more details and reservations. You can also email them through the email sm@maharesort.com/reservations, and we'll have some great interaction today. We expect to have in the studio Titus Ni Kwate Glover. Okay, Titus Ni Kwate Glover. And then also we have currently in the studio the Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, and I have the regular Mutala right here, and we'll have some great time as well. Now, before they all come, please, we know what transpired in Parliament, that ad hoc committee that has been put together to look at the case of the Finance Minister, and it's that vote of censure that has been now put into effect by the Speaker, with that committee put in place. And the first day of the proceedings, we'll bring you some highlights and we do some introspection and look at the issues.
Section 4 of the Fiscal Responsibility Act, Act 982, says that Parliament may, in accordance with Article 82 of the Constitution, pass a vote of censure on the minister where the minister breaches Section 2 of more than 1 percentage point. Again, Section 2 says that the primary balance must always be positive. So if you breach it by 1 percentage point, then obviously the vote of censure may trigger. In the year 2018, our minister responsible for finance and the government had said to Parliament that the fiscal deficit was 3.9% of GDP. In fact, in the year 2018, the reason why they said it's 3.9% of GDP was that a key expenditure worth 9.8 billion Ghana cedis was excluded from the fiscal accounting. They treated it below the line. And this has to do with the financial sector payment. So, Mr. Chairman, if you are to account for the 9.8 billion Ghana cedis that they excluded and treated it below the line, the actual fiscal deficit for the year 2018 was 7.1% of GDP.
They have come up with their evidence. Maybe we'll restrict ourselves to what they have come up with, not the other bits. So that's why I confiscated one of your documents. So let's see. Anyway, you've asked so many questions. We're tired.
Mr. Chairman, is that his form of re-examination or something?
Everybody's complaining now, so it's getting uncomfortable. Let's see how you go back.
He's asking follow-up questions with respect to the payments, all payments in connection with the National Cathedral.
Full picture. It's important to have the full picture.
So it's not a re-examination.
Yeah, this is about the National Cathedral.
Mr. Chairman, we object to this strongly. If he can hold a press conference to deal with those matters, but I think that we are here for a specific reason. Grounds have been stated. Let's stick to that. You know, we are not here for it's not a political platform to make some political pronouncements.
Well,
These are serious, serious allegations. Please, please.
He will not teach me how to do my work in Parliament.
No.
This is Parliament. You won't teach me how to do my work.
Let me finish.
No, he can't come here and throw his weight about. He can't teach me how to do my work. I take strong exception that I should go and hold a press conference. Please.
I'm only 78 kilos.
Please.
I'm not going to throw it about.
Please. I won't accept that.
Yes.
And you are not the chair. You don't tell members of parliament what to do.
That's fine. So, I mean, we appreciate the point.
I will do my work. I'm not going to hold a press conference. You will not teach me how to do my work.
Yeah, so I think we made a point. There have been quite a few questions already. But if we don't have, well, we're listening to the tenor of the next two questions.
Well, so we have Ni Kwate Titus Glover. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, great. Former member of parliament. My great friend.
Are you sure?
Yes. Oh, you're my good friend. And I also do have the member of parliament for Tamale Central here, Mutala. How are you, sir?
Alhamdulillah, we can't complain.
Mashallah, mashallah. And, well, just to make sure that you're in tune with us, we all do know what transpired yesterday, and we just brought you snippets of all that. And Mr. Glover.
My name is Titus Glover.
Okay, Mr. Titus Glover.
Yeah.
What do you make of the proceedings yesterday?
First of all, let me say a good morning to your viewers, your good self, and my brother Mutala here. It will be very unfortunate on my part not to acknowledge and congratulate our dear sister Portia for being the overall best journalist of the year. She has done so well. I've monitored it for the past years. Two stories that she did that really touched my heart was the one on Ayeyi and this woman beggar on the streets that she faced a baby through the tubes or whatever they call it, that eventually led to the support of 3 Foundation and the First Lady's office. And I realized that indeed Portia has a future. So together with TV3, let me say you've really, really done well to make sure you nurture your own right from the beginning up to where she is. So Portia, I say congratulations again. Then on the substantive matter that you brought to the table for discussion, I never had much opportunity to watch proceedings. It was yesterday on Asempa FM when I was watching snipers of the interview or the discussion that was ongoing. There was a few back and forth in terms of the lawyer, that is Gabi, asking for some documentation to buttress the accusations that he made against the finance minister. So we took the minority leader and Atu Forson to tell them the various documentation you have, i.e. the standing orders of parliament, the constitution, the PIAC report 2020, 2021, some of the World Bank report, and some few other reports that they felt that they could tender to the committee. And Gabi also felt that some of the documentation that were put before them or tendered, they need to get some specific areas where they could be able to make referral or reference to this area, because it looks broad. One is at the Constitution of Ghana. Exactly where are you referring to? So they need to have the bits and pieces of all these areas that they need to go. Then the questions were coming. So the minority leader started, gave a background and overview of the motion that he gave on Thursday. Then he gave it back to Atu to continue. Like I said, I was on Asempa, so I couldn't follow through. But back in the house in the night, I realized, and right now you just show it, the banter between Gabi and...
what do you make of it as a former member of parliament? Somebody who's very close to that.
I think that Gabi went overboard.
You mean you think, or...
No, because...
based on your experience, he was wrong?
Yes, Gabi didn't do it well. You know, in the house, Mutala is here. We play, we joke, we do everything. But when it comes to the business of the house, we are frank, I will make sure we do as serious as it is. Gabi might be joking, but Okujeto also took it to a different level. It's a place you can go and organize a press conference, or this is not a political party platform.
You think that was untoward from Gabi?
I felt that was, to him, from the way I saw him, maybe he was joking. But Okujeto also took it differently. But you are a stranger here. You can't dictate to me how I should work in the house. That is his space. He's doing his work. He can ask by our rules. You can ask any other question that you want to ask. It is only the chairman or the speaker who can determine whether this question you're asking or this thing you're making is erroneous or not. So I believe that subsequently, as they continue, we want a determination of this censorship that's before the House, that both parties should look at the matter as it is and deal with it without unnecessary tension around the whole work that they are doing. This is the first time that we're seeing such an exercise in the House, in the 1992 Constitution, in the parliamentary practice that we're having, that we've never had an opportunity where a sitting minister of state is being censured, and for that matter, walking through this process. One other matter too that we felt that Gabi made strong argument there was about one of the recommendations that is involved in the conflict of interest. Gabi was relying on article, is it 287? That talks about the referral to the institutions of state like the church to deal with matters of conflict of interest. Now, on article 103.3, that talks about Parliament having the powers to investigate ministries, departments, and agencies. You know, Parliament has that power to also delve into it. But as to whether Parliament have the locus to determine in total whether somebody has been found foul of conflict of interest, that is the dilemma that we find ourselves.
You are saying it's a gray area.
Yes, so I think that it is something that will need some constitutional interpretation at the Supreme
Court. But you're an experienced member of Parliament. I have to say that your contribution in the politics of our country and then your work in Parliament show that, I mean, you could have. I'm saying that in every developing democracy, there are precedents that need to be set. And even before we came on, you made references to what happens in the United States of America, both of you. Sometimes Parliament needs, because of what the Constitution says about the separation of powers, needs to also set some good precedent and stamp its authority on the democracy we have. And that is why this committee comes in very handy. So describing this as a gray area, describing whether Parliament has the authority to determine whether a minister of state is in a conflict of interest situation, etc., is not beyond Parliament.
Roland, yes, I did discuss with my brother and yourself that when you look at the United States, when it comes to the workings of committees of their Parliament or their Congress or whatever, the respective committees deals with people who are being referred to them for them to vet, so to speak. For example, if you want to, someone is being appointed Secretary of State for Homeland Security, it is the Committee of Security.
Not, for example, in our case, the appointment committee. Okay.
So that education
because
committee,
they are experts
the
on
Trade
the
committee,
okay.
the Defense and Interior Committee, that will vet that particular personality that is before them. So here in our case, the Constitution 103.3 is saying that Parliament have the right and the powers to investigate, to inquire in every ministry, department, and agencies. Is their right because they have an oversight over the executive. At the same leg, 287 is also saying that when it comes to areas of conflict of interest, it is not Parliament that should look at it. So that is, I'm not a lawyer. So we need the Supreme Court to make a determination as to indeed what can we do about it. For example, the issue about the Deputy Speaker issue that came, the first Deputy Speaker or the Deputy Speakers who are members of Parliament and presiding in the chamber, whether they have the right to vote. Somebody took the matter to the Supreme Court and a determination has been made. So I think that is an area that we can also try the law on it to find out. I have no problem. Parliament can still do its work to inquire, to investigate activities that lead into that conflict of interest. But the final determination whether the person has been wronged or not is the area that will need some education, legal education on that matter for it to be made.
Murtala, your own views on what transpired yesterday?
Well, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning to my bully senior brother. And good morning. When he came, he started bullying me. And good morning to your cherished viewers. And if you permit me, let me use the opportunity to congratulate those who emerged victorious in the elections for the various regional, NDC executive elections we had.
You're not really. Someone was crying. Is that
Northern region. Northern region. I mean, I ignored the mischief. Northern region, and I'll congratulate them. But one thing I'll say is that those who have won should celebrate their victory with respect towards those who couldn't win. And for those who couldn't win, the NDC is a huge family. They should take solace in the statements of Richard Nixon when he lost. Richard Nixon when he lost the 1960 elections to President Kennedy. He said a man is finished if he quits, but a man is not finished if he fails. I am very optimistic that the NDC, inshallah, will emerge victorious in the 2024 elections with President Mahama as the president, elect by Allah's will. But if you look at the elections, from branch elections to constituency elections to regional, it's been largely peaceful. Of course, you have one or two problems here and there, but largely it's been peaceful. Roland, Parliament of Ghana has come of age, but it's important for us to put into context why this decision in the matter of whether the Minister for Finance should leave office has to be taken at an ad hoc committee level. That is not what the NDC members and all members of Parliament envisaged. A censure motion was moved. In fact, after the application, the Speaker would have to take, once it is accepted, it will take a week for it to be published in the order paper. And after it is published in the order paper, it takes 2 weeks from the day of receipt for it to be open for debate and a decision taken. So what it means is that after it is published, it takes another week for a decision to be made on it. The reason why the Speaker referred this to an ad hoc committee constituted was because of the issue that was raised about natural justice. Because I remember on the floor, when Honorable Harun Idrisu moved the motion, and the motion before it was seconded, the Deputy Majority Leader, my good friend Honorable Afenyo Markins, raised preliminary objection. Some of us had problems with it. In fact, the Speaker allowed that. And when even the Speaker allowed that, our contended position was that you can't find anywhere in the standing orders that when a motion is moved until the motion is seconded, someone can raise the preliminary objection to that. But we do understand because the Speaker wanted to maintain some civility. And of course, Parliament is a master of its own rules. So even when the Speaker allowed that, Honorable Ayine, I remember, rose and challenged that particular position. But he allowed it to go because we felt that the Speaker just wanted things to go peacefully.
And now we have the committee.
Now, after that, we went on break. The Speaker then came back. When the Speaker came back, before Honorable Mutaka seconded, the Speaker said that it was going to be referred to an ad hoc committee just to take care of the concerns that the Minister for Justice must be given a fair hearing. Now, the fair hearing because the Speaker's view is that the Minister may decide to come with a lawyer who is not a member of Parliament. One thing people or viewers must understand, at the plenary, only 2 people can get into chamber and sit there, only 2 people. You must be a member of Parliament or a Minister of State. The other people who can come there are clerks who facilitate the work of members of Parliament. So ministers of states who are not members of Parliament can come to Parliament, engage in debate, but they cannot vote. But they can sit in the chamber, they can debate, but they cannot vote. Yeah, any other person is a stranger. So, and therefore, if the Minister for Finance, and as is being demonstrated, intended to come with a lawyer who is not a member of Parliament or who is not a Minister of State, he was going to be denied that opportunity of having a legal representation.
So that's why Gabi is there.
That was that. So that's why Gabi is. So if it was going to be done at plenary, Gabi wouldn't have been there. Because Gabi is not a minister. Gabi is not a member of parliament.
Well understood.
And so he could not come there.
What do you make of what transpired between...
No, it's important I establish this. So the speaker referred it to the ad hoc committee because at the committee level, per the permission of the committee, any other person can come and sit at the committee. So the committee allowed the minister to come with an attorney who is not a member of parliament and who is not a minister. So let people understand why we have to go through ad hoc committee, and that the decision would have been taken on the floor. I remember at that time, our view was that there are members of parliament who are lawyers who could serve as legal support to the minister. Another argument that was made was that all the issues raised, in fact, most of the issues are issues that the minister himself responded to
before the House.
And when he came before the House, he didn't come with a lawyer. But in the wisdom of the speaker, it was good for natural justice so that the man is given fair hearing, so he must come with a legal support of his choice. So he decided to come with someone who is not a lawyer, who is not a minister. So that is settled. Now, the conduct of the lawyer was just appallingly bizarre.
You mean Gabi?
Yes, it was appallingly bizarre.
Why?
He came across as a very, very arrogant person who disrespected Parliament, because that statement, he made two statements.
Which is?
The first statement he made was that the minister is leading IMF negotiation, and therefore, if we were to sit here and surprises are sprung...
Well, that's true.
No, I'm coming. He could have put it in a better way. And that's why even Katie Hammond, the co-chair himself, had issues with that particular statement.
How did you want it to be put?
Why? When you say that, what we're doing in Parliament as important as the IMF negotiation, you are allegedly engaged in violating laws. Even some of those laws are in the Constitution. That you allege to have violated such laws on matters of financial regulations in this country. And you think that is less important to a negotiation? The reasons why we are having this negotiation, in our opinion, is because of your conduct. The conduct which has occasioned the committee being asked. I get what I'm saying. That is the reason. So if you are now having a problem with that, it's as if you are delaying me, you are wasting our time.
You think he's belittling the work of the committee?
Absolutely. The people, look, Parliament is the representation of the people, and whatever we do there, we represent the 32 million people. So it is more important what we're doing there. And another is when he said, you must as well hold a press conference. That was not a disrespect to Honorable Okujeto, but it was a disrespect to the Committee of Parliament, disrespect to the Speaker, and disrespect to Parliament.
How?
He ought not have made those statements. And I'm happy.
Just because he's not a member of Parliament?
No, any other person. Even members of Parliament, you can't say that. If I come here and I begin attacking your station and raising issues that denigrate your station, I think that I will be attacking you and you won't be happy with it. And I was happy. My friend also indicated that, look, he could have made the statement in a different way than what he did. So two very strong statements. As someone who is representing someone who has been accused of certain violations of our laws. But what is critical in all this?
Which is what?
Has to do with the issues raised by the proponents of this particular motion.
And we saw that with Dr. Atufosson.
Issues raised.
Yeah.
There was, I don't want to preempt it because he would have
let's talk.
He would have the opportunity to respond.
I'm
saying that the Minister for
But
Finance...
Mutala, we know that the conduct of the minister, the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, is a public conduct for which he's even appeared before Parliament, and presented government financial statements. And for example, there are clear issues that were raised by Dr. Atufosson. Critically, underreporting to Parliament, figures that should have been told to the ordinary Ghanaian.
And Roland, the most striking aspect of it is that all these issues, we raised them. We raised them on the floor that he was underreporting. Go and read the answer. That he was underreporting. The figures he presented in the 2021 budget, we raised the issue that he was underreporting. 2022, we raised same. And the MPP communicators, including spokespersons, those numerous spokespersons who are paid with our taxes, huge sums of money, they came to the defense of the minister that he wasn't underreporting. Yet when he was reporting to the IMF, he had to report sincerely to them. So the question is, between the IMF and the Parliament of Ghana, who do you think that the Minister for Finance should be sincere with?
First to the Parliament of
Absolutely.
Ghana.
Between the Parliament of Ghana and the IMF, he should respond to us sincerely. He never did that. He was being disingenuous. He was being evasive in some instances. Another point that was raised. Look, Cathedral. I have been a beneficiary of mission schools. I attended Methodist, Primary Methodist, JSS. All those who are raising questions about the Cathedral, I'm not saying that Cathedral is not worth building. Nobody is saying so. But how do you build a house of God through fraudulent means? You think that Jesus will be happy with you?
What do you mean by fraudulent means?
You went in to remove monies without the approval of Parliament.
Well, there's an argument that was made that within the budget of 2022, we're told that expenditure will be made for the cathedral, even though they were not categorical. So that should suffice.
Well, how could that suffice? How could that suffice?
You tell me, you're a member of
Parliament. If I say that there is expenditure for trade, there's expenditure for trade, and I decide that I'm going to spend $100 million of government of Ghana's money promoting the sales of foods, which is also trade.
So you're saying that to the specific expenditures,
absolutely
references
should be made
to Parliament.
You don't only
for approval.
You don't only approve budget, you approve estimates. Now, when you approve a budget without approving the estimates, government cannot go ahead to spend.
And so far, how much has it spent by your knowledge?
Over $100 million. Over $100 million to get into 200 million Ghana cedis have been spent without the approval of Parliament.
On the National Cathedral.
So how do you, I call it President Nana Ado's Cathedral. How do you build the house of God? Through fraudulent means. You think God will be happy with you? People need to know. Look, if the state decides, and that's what Honorable Haruna Iddrisu said yesterday, if the state decides that we need to have a cathedral, fair, go through the right means. Let's build a cathedral. But if you decide that you slept, I don't know what the president ate that night and had a vision that he needs to build a cathedral. This was his vision, that he made a pledge to his creator. He didn't say we made a pledge. In the 2016 manifesto, the president didn't tell us that he was going to build a cathedral. He made a pledge to his creator that if he wins elections, this is what he's going to do.
Well, now it's on the expenditure of the public.
No, you don't even do that. You don't do that. It's unacceptable.
So you're saying it's illegal?
We all make pledges. I mean, people with faith. We make pledges. I made a pledge that if I win an election, I'm going to fast for 3 days. I'm going to read the full Quran. Those pledges have been made. Now, when you make a pledge and Allah fulfills or accepts your prayer, it is between you and your creator. It doesn't become a responsibility on Ghanaians. It doesn't. If the president decided that, I think that we should have a national cathedral, let's debate it, let's discuss it, let's all agree we should have a national cathedral. Now, how are we going to build that national cathedral? Are we going to build it from the resources of the state or private entities are going to support? Look, I am very convinced that private individuals can contribute to build a cathedral that is befitting for this country. You don't spend that money. Architecture alone, I'm told we are owing the gentleman over $20 million. Architecture, over $20 million. Does it even make sense? Does it even make sense?
Well, why not? He's a renowned architect.
Architecture, over $20 million.
Have you seen some of his drawings? It's designed some of the best drawings in the world.
So do we need that for a cathedral? Do we need that? Over 20 million? God will be very angry. Very, very angry.
Why? Do you know God?
Why? We all worship God. And I think that is why we are struggling. Because God is angry at this president. That you don't lie to build a house of God with fraudulent means. You don't do that. God will be very, very angry. Because why will you do this? That $20 million, how much have we paid the gentleman so far? The extent that we now owe him over $20 million. What do you think that $20 million can do? Couldn't that in fact, I strongly believe that $5 million could be used to build that particular cathedral. If they give it to private entities, let them do it. If the state wants to remove money to do that, let's all agree. Government of Ghana, through our taxes, let's remove money to build a house of God. And I don't think anybody would have any problem with that. You don't build a house of God because you made a pledge to your creator and your creator accepted your prayer, gave you victory. That victory, what has it led us to? Are we not in a mess in this country?
Oh, how? How do you make such conclusion?
The only person persons who may think we are not in a mess are those who live within the four walls of the Flagstaff House. My brother doesn't live there.
Oh, you mean Jubilee House?
My brother doesn't live there, so he knows we are in a mess.
Mr. Titles Glover, there are key issues that were raised or have been raised over the period. Is that the finance minister has supervised an economy and an expenditure pattern which has now led the economy into a downturn. Yesterday, questions were raised about how do you determine that the finance minister has led the country into this ditch, and so should not be the one who should be supervising, as one of the key points that were raised. And then also, how do you determine the issues of whether the finance minister has reduced the country to the state in which it is? Look, before the committee, the finance minister has been empowered through the constitution, through the president, to manage the finances. So however he does his work, he will report to Parliament, and he's already been doing that, and then to the president.
Thank you very much. But before I attempt to respond to your question, my brother made some remark that I want to
Which remark is that?
respond to. He was saying that when the motion for the censorship was made by the minority leader, normally by the procedure, the minister is supposed to be in the chamber. If he wants any ministers of state who are not members of parliament to be around him, they can come and be part of the debate that will be going on. But the speaker referred the matter to a committee which they believe that was not to have been done.
You're getting me wrong. I don't want.
So I want to refer
you let him refer, and then you can.
I want to refer to vote of censure and removal from office.
Oh, you mean the one in the Constitution?
Understanding
orders, okay.
And it's 1061. And let me quote. The House may pass a resolution to remove the President, the Vice President, Mr. Speaker, and Deputy Speakers, and the vote of censure on the Minister of State. The House may consider such motion and come to a decision or refer it to a committee on a motion made by any member, quote and unquote. So
your point is what?
So my problem is that Mr. Speaker referring the matter to an ad hoc committee of Parliament is captured in the order 106.
But that day you were not in the House. Myself, Johnny Hughes, who were in the House. No.
But let me finish.
The Speaker did say that this is a very grey area, even though these are stated in the standing orders. And that to get matters to a certain point where there's clarity, and then arguments for both sides are given a hearing, and that the man himself at the middle is also given a hearing. The ad hoc committee is also important. So even though he also made references to a standing committee, it's also because this is also a grey area.
I thought you will allow me to speak.
Please continue.
No. Can I ask you a question?
Kuda, don't ask me a question. Don't ask me a question.
Now I want you to reread.
Don't ask me a question. So what I wanted to say, you just take the wind out of my sail.
Okay, then I've said it for you.
So clearly,
please go on to the next issue.
Calm down. Why do you always want to push me? Oh, calm down. Why? I'm here because of you.
He's your kid brother, so.
Why?
So when you were bullying me, when you arrived, you started bullying me. Get up there, go and sit here.
Murtala said God is angry with the president.
Why is it that when I'm asking questions, every time you want to push me?
No, the way you are doing it. The way you are doing it's not fair to me.
I was sitting here, you sacked me.
Okay, please go ahead.
I was sitting here.
My brother said God is angry with the president for doing an illegal thing.
Well, the president promised that the National Cathedral is not, his personal promise to God. But he keeps insisting that Ghanaians will bear the cost, partly.
If you know what God has done for you in life, you need to become a president that is a thing. Murtala sitting here,
I don't understand. You mean that God voted for the president?
It is God voted through human beings.
So
it is God that has made him who he is today.
So the state of the economy currently is God that.
Oh, please.
It's because it's being supervised by the president who was voted
by the people. Me to flow? Why are you like this?
Okay, continue.
Continue.
I beg you.
Oh, please stop this.
So if God has made him a president, and he believes that he can build a house of prayer,
which is to God, with his personal manifesto.
So what is wrong about it?
Stop bullying the man.
What is wrong about it? And I know the Muslims are not even angry that we build a house of prayer for Christians.
But who says we are
Please, don't go there, please.
But nobody says
So clearly, I see no beef where they want to create this matter to. But I'm told, bro, that in 2018, the National Cathedral budget was captured in the 2018 budget. Is it true?
Can I answer you now?
Yeah, I want to know for the sake of the viewers.
No,
Okay,
no. When you say Mutala should answer, that's 3 minutes.
So
Please.
I'm told. So you can say you calm down. So I'm told was captured in the 2018 budget. So whether some money,
how much?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
So you can't say.
So if in the 2018 budget some money has been set aside and they've created an account, lodged an account for that arrangement, I don't see why Mutala and the NDC should run route with this matter. Clearly, I don't see that. Now to your substantive matter as to why the minority are saying that the finance minister has underperformed, and for that matter, he should be censured and taken out of office. With all due respect, we have said this time and remember that in 2017, 2018, the first term, the performance of the running of this economy, you and I believe that.
And now.
So he has been caught in the web of these circumstances.
Please. Your own people.
Please.
If not for the 2020 election, you also would have been in Parliament. Are you saying that the 80 plus MPs, now extended to the majority side of Parliament, who are now even insisting by latest yesterday night that the finance minister should even present the next year's budget, are not in the right frame of thinking?
Are we the same people? Are we the same people? We're not the same people.
Are you saying that the finance minister has done well?
Please, I'm not saying he has done well.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying that he took it from somewhere. Now
We're talking now.
Now where we find ourselves, every finance minister in the world is going through crisis.
Which finance minister?
I'm telling you, every finance minister in this world, with these challenges we face in this world, are going through crisis. So my colleagues are saying that they met.
Which finance
Please
minister?
don't ask me that question.
But because
I am telling you,
the United Kingdom appointed a finance minister.
Why was Party sacked? Why was he sacked?
Because his decisions and policies were wrong.
Did he work on his own volition?
Then the president should sack the minister.
Cool down. Did Kwating, the exchequer of UK, did he work on his own volition? He worked on the honors of Liz Truss.
Who has even
so what are you talking about?
Booted out of office?
What are we talking about? I've sent you videos, things that are going on around the world.
Which is what? Except
where you don't want to read and you don't want to understand. What is going on in this world is not limited to Ghana. Unfortunately, Ofurata has been caught in this web. Do you understand? There might be some mistakes that he has done, which we cannot admit, one way or the other.
Which are some of the mistakes?
You understand? From the position where you are coming from.
Which position?
I'm saying that he might be done some 1 or 2 mistakes
Which
here
are
and
the
there.
mistakes that you mentioned?
Do you understand? I don't know, because you part of the people said he should go. So if people are saying that Ken should go, and for that matter, things are very difficult, I agree. But what are some of these issues? 1 is about debts. 2 is about inflation. 3 about the way cost of living has shot
and expenditure.
Shortfall of revenue. Mutala was here when we were bringing this E-Levy thing to generate more revenue for the development of this country. They worked out, they agitated to make sure the E-Levy should not be successful.
Ghanaians didn't want.
You were leading, you were trying to take up the seat of the speaker. So issues of this nature, when they come up, it's a matter of taking our time to delve into it and look at the issues one or the other. But where we want to lump everything together and as if Ofurata is a devil, I don't get it. So please, we have a problem on our hand. How do you deal with it? Even if you want him to go, is that the way we have to deal with the matter?
How do you think we have to deal with the matter?
Is that the way
Since the president is insisting that he's not going to get him out of office and appoint a new person, how do you want him to
The president never said he's not going to get him out of office. When my colleagues agitated, he invited them.
So you do agree that your colleagues agitated?
I agree.
Okay, and the president's conclusion is what?
His conclusion is that he's leading the IMF discussion.
And who should come and implement?
He has the budget and appropriation.
And who should come and implement the agreement?
So the president does not work alone. The majority in parliament does not work alone. You work alongside the executive and the president. So if you have made your case to the president and he's saying that, look, colleagues, please, with the greatest of respect, give me this opportunity and let the finance minister go through this IMF arrangement for me. Get the budget and appropriation, and then we can look at the subject matter. What is the problem here? Roland Walker, what is the problem here? And you feel that, and even the 80 members of parliament who agitated, they wrote back and said, look, from the way the president has spoken, they want to give the benefit of the doubt. So, if that has been done, and all these arrangements have been gone through, then they can go back and raise the matter of the president, and the president does not do otherwise, then they'll have an issue. But the people who agitated themselves have believed and understood what the president said. So what is the beef here?
Can I respond now? Can I, in the first place?
No, I haven't finished.
I'm done.
I want to ask you a question.
Come on, bring
Your people are saying that they don't want the finance minister, who you are supporting here. Your own people, though. Majority members of parliament. If you were in parliament, you would have been part of majority today.
I'm not in parliament.
No, I'm making sense. Because you are an honorable member of Ghana's democracy and then political space. They say they don't want him to lead the next team that will read the budget for us, 2023.
They don't like Kenofurata because inflation is high, cost of living is high.
You are supporting the minority
What
now.
I'm saying is that I'm giving you the grounds, the reasons why they sell he's not doing well. And one is what? High energy prices, high food prices, high cost of living. Do you understand? And there are debts. And because of that, they went to their constituencies. And this is the feedback they had from their constituencies. And for that matter, they held a press conference to say that no, we will not allow you to continue the work you are doing. And based on that, the president said, please come. I've heard you. But because of A, B, C, and D, give me time so that he can walk us through this.
So who are you supporting? Your friends who are in the House or the president?
I will support the president. I will support the president.
I see.
First and foremost, I never had any problem with the procedure adopted by the speaker. Maybe perhaps my brother was not
just clarify.
No, what I said was that because the speaker wanted things to go without any challenge, we had a view.
Oh, but it's the same thing.
I'm coming. No, we had a view as a caucus that we felt that the speaker should have done ABCD. And
you should have referred to committee.
No,
so that go straight away
no.
and do the debates in the chamber. That was your position.
What you read, they said the decision will be taken or referred to. So if we could have done it at plenary, we would have done it there. But the speaker wanted fairness to happen. And that's why I said that what occasion that was, the speaker wanted the Minister for Finance to be treated fairly so that he could come with an attorney, with a lawyer who necessarily is not a member of parliament or a minister of state. Now, my brother asked whether the cathedral was captured in the 2018 budget. When we say something is captured in the budget, it must come with a budget line, with an amount. There was no amount. They just said that they would devote some money for cathedral. In any case, assuming that there was even an amount in 2018, the moment 2018 fiscal year ends, that ends it. If you are coming 2009,
you can log in an account.
Please, no, you can't do that.
You can log in an account.
No, you can't do
because
that.
provision has been made for it.
Hold on, you can't.
So that you can start disbursing it.
No, you can't.
It can be done.
Nothing was logged into any accounts. I'm saying that even
He's talking about expended. If it's not been expended.
It's not been expended. Even if you want to log into an account,
you have to
it must be approved at appropriation.
Yes.
But I'm saying that assuming, let's admit that it was even in 2018 budget. It wasn't even there. You didn't have any budget line. But even for the sake of your viewing public, even if you had it in the 2018 budget, with budget line and everything, once that year ends, if you are coming in 2019, you have to capture that. We are going to do this and you didn't do that. Now you took that money fraudulently, illegally, to build the house of God. You think God will not be angry? The reason why we are where we are, God is angry with this government. God is. I mean, some of your colleagues have told us that you can't say your government. Someone told a member of parliament.
That's speculation.
A member of parliament. I don't want to mention his name. A member of
mention it.
Oh, I won't
because
do
what
that.
that's speculation.
I'll tell. When we finish, I'll tell you that.
No, then it's not news.
I promise to tell you. Oh, why I must say it won't be fair for that person. That they think that God has cursed Nyame or cursed your government. But choose not that. No, so I'm saying that it's like this. You see, horn. Where is that horn the president used to hold? The horn they gave him. If he believed in God.
Which one?
That horn that pastor gave him. What's the name of that? What horn? What was it for? Was it Christian? Was it Christian? Was it God? Where is it? That horn. So he relied on that horn. It wasn't any God.
There are issues that were raised about GDP.
We are talking about the house of God. We are talking about the house of God. I am saying we are talking about the house of God.
I think the substantive issues are the state of the economy.
The minister never denied that he dipped his hands into. He took money for the cathedral without the approval of Parliament. He has never denied that. This same minister appeared before Parliament and admitted that his companies benefited from some of the loan Eurobonds that we went into. He admitted.
Oh, but we were told that he had resigned since 2008.
Well, his employees of Data Bank are working at the Ministry of Finance. We shouldn't even go there.
Who told you that?
Oh, but you don't know them. Ask him. He knows some of them who were working with them. They are now with Ministry of Finance. But you see, all the issues we have raised, and I've heard my friend who says that, oh, we're doing well in 2017, 2018. We're doing well in 2017, 2018 because we're still under the IMF program. We were doing well in 2017, 2018 because it was already projected that the policy interventions of the NDC occasioned that little success story you can talk of now with your chest out, that we had these successes in 2017, 2018. Why? What is so special about the ministry that the minister doesn't want to resign? I remember I shared a platform with one of the spokespersons of the anti-Kenoforiata in Parliament. In fact, Honorable Eugene, the MP for Subin. And he said, Mr. President, you claim it was NDC people who were calling for the removal of the minister. It is no longer NDC, it is we. We MPP members of Parliament are saying that the man should go. The man is still there. The president is unwilling to sack him. The list said about E-Levy, and for which reason you are not meeting your economic targets.
I think that clearly the majority as well as government blames the minority for the failure of the passage and then how well the tax is doing.
It wasn't, you see, one thing I realized about our friends, anytime you raise a legitimate issue, engage them in a debate as an NDC person, they reduce it to NDC MPP ball game. ISE is not an NDC wing. ISE spoke against the E-Levy. When we had our post-budget workshop at home, all the people who were brought in, including Professor Ali Nachen and co.
You mean as Parliament?
Yes, as Parliament. To take us through the policy decisions for which reason the budget was presented. They all spoke against the E-Levy. As a matter of fact, Central University, the university that made their auditorium available for Dr. Baume to engage in the voodoo economics he was engaging in 2016.
Oh, what do you mean by voodoo economics?
But who doesn't know it was a voodoo economics? I mean, when he's given the opportunity, it's a mess. That Central University conducted a survey, and over 90% of the people of this country says they were against E-Levy. Multimedia, if they have friends in our political discourse, it's MPP. Because you have lead journalists there who are now members of Parliament and ministers in your government. Multimedia conducted a survey, and over 90% of the people of this country say they were against E-Levy. So it was not an NDC thing. Ghanaians generally were against the E-Levy. You were bent on having the E-Levy. And I remember one of the reasons why the majority leader and others now have problem with this minister and some of the members of Parliament, they told him, you needed to do something with the figures you were quoting. I mean, the percentages you wanted in the matter of the E-Levy. He won't listen to anybody. So it was not an NDC opposition. It was the opposition of the people of this country, that you don't impose a tax that exerts more pressure on the already suffering Ghanaians.
As far as I'm concerned, if you look at the rationale for the introduction of the tax, for which the projections were made, and that we're told that we're going to get close to, if not 6 billion, it was going to shore up and give us space within the macroeconomic environment, and if it was well approved and had gone through well, we wouldn't have gone to the IMF. And then even projected beyond 2022 to 23 and 24. So that is why the NDC minorities always blame, because you walked out.
No, all these issues were raised. And the people of this country, that's why I mentioned ISE, I mentioned Imani, I mentioned even surveys conducted by institutions that give you space to do the voodoo economics. Multimedia, several reputable institutions conducted surveys, and the generality of the people of this country says they were against it. It wasn't 60%. Over 90% Ghanaians says they were against the E-Levy. The reason why people were against it was not that they were just opposing a tax regime, but you don't impose a tax that is repressive. An instrument of tax should be progressive. You don't impose it that is regressive. It exerts more pressure on the poor than the rich.
And this why you blame the finance minister for this?
Of course.
Oh, how?
All these issues were raised. And maybe perhaps not only the finance minister, and I agree with him. Everything the finance minister did, he did them to satisfy the vision of the president. The finance minister never took any action alone. He took the actions that the president asked him to take. And that is the reason why the finance minister alone should not go. The president must leave office.
Oh.
Why?
The president has a mandate.
He made reference to UK. And he talks about our brother.
The president has a mandate.
He talks about, well, that mandate also says that when you fail to govern, when you know that, governing you, how do they even put it? You can't handle it again. Hand over. The sad thing is that the president is as blamable as the vice president. When he was everywhere, the economy, the Professor Jambafo, the Alan Chairman, where are they? The wife told us that the husband was economic whiskey. What? Whiskey. That was what the wife told us, Samira. Today, the husband is economic poyoyo. That is who the husband is.
Mutala, I take exception to using some of these anecdotes.
Who is Poyo? Poyo is a musician. We the Poyorians. I'm a fan of Poyo. But in terms of the annals of recognition, whiskey is more recognized globally than Poyoyo. So I'm saying that the husband is now economic Poyoyo. The wife said the husband was economic whiskey. I didn't push the words through her throat. So I'm saying that you can no longer describe Dr. Bomea as economic whiskey. You describe him as economic Poyoyo. And describing economic Poyoyo is not derogatory because I'm a member of Poyoyo group. We the Poyorians. You know Poyoyo? The young musician, very
because you
guy.
like the musician, the guy who puts the chains and
exactly.
the boots.
He's a young guy.
And you attribute or sync that to the image of the vice president.
Because he's up and coming.
Oh, Mutala.
Why?
You can do better.
When he said whiskey, why didn't
Dr.
you have
Baumia is a vice president.
No, when he said economic, when the wife said the husband was economic whiskey, why didn't you have a problem with that? Because whiskey,
because he has a PhD and he has the academic qualifications.
You see, I don't want to quote this guy. The gentleman who contested the Nima elections, Kofi Wayo, he said in this country we glorify titles. Professor this, professor that, doctor this, doctor that. That was what the vice president stood on when he said that the economic team, the Professor Jambafo, the Alan Chairman team, he mentioned them. What happens? What happens? It's a mess. Under President Mahama, who was not an economist, who didn't have a PhD in economics, the economy was far better. Unemployment was 6.8. Under him, economic whiskey, unemployment is 17.4. Youth unemployment is 12.6. Under President Mahama, a gallon of petrol was 14 cedis. Under him, as the leader of the economic management team, a liter of petrol, over 4 liters make a gallon. A liter is 18 cedis.
4.5.
Yes, a liter is 18 cedis. Under President Mahama, the dollar to the cedi was around 3.7, let's say even 4.2. Today, what is it? So President Mahama indeed could manage the economy better, and he demonstrated that. Look, the joblessness in this country, the joblessness is going beyond the roof. Everybody in this country is crying. Why is it that there are series of...
Mahama said there was no COVID in Ukraine.
Okay,
and then
there was Ukraine in 2014. Under Mahama's time, none of Ghana didn't go to the IMF for $3 billion in the name of COVID. Under Mahama, Ghana didn't go to the World Bank for $906 million in the name of
what
COVID.
Are you saying? That they've had enough funds?
Of course. Now, when I hear our friends, they make references to UK and others. It's global. Look, if you want to show how beautiful you are as a lady.
But Mama took us
I say, if you want to show how beautiful you are as a lady, do that within your household first. So if you are the most beautiful, when you have Ghana most beautiful, you are the ugliest in your family, and then you want to contest Ghana most beautiful. Even within the community, you won't win. So you have to be the most beautiful in your family before you can go and do the regional contest. Is that not what you guys do? After that, you come to national. So if you want to showcase to the people how you manage the economy, let's look within Africa. Now, another falsehood, and unfortunately, this falsehood is paraded by even the president. When he said that, inflation in Togo increased by 16 folds, Ivory Coast 7 folds, Senegal 11 folds, ours 5 folds. 5-fold at what rate? You check the inflation in those countries, ours is skyrocketing. Again, we are told that we manage COVID than them.
It's only 40.4.
Why? WHO, they praise Togo, they praise Niger. Do you know the number of people who died as a result of COVID in Nigeria? 3,155 as October last month. And in Ghana, 1,456. If you do the calculations against the population, more people died in Ghana as a result of COVID than in Nigeria.
Well, the argument is that we're doing more testing. For our population.
So if you do more testing, it means that you should have more recovery. Then if you go by that logic, those who didn't do the testing, then more people should die. Because you need to do the test. Because you need to do the test to be able to treat people.
We're going for it.
What do you want to say again?
We'll go for it. Aaron says, good morning, Roland. It's an indictment on the integrity of the president and the finance minister. The hardships being caused by the reckless borrowing and spending by the finance minister and the MPP government. The fact is that you cannot rob Peter to pay Paul. And then also, Obrimpong Kaba says, AY Poyoyo Pa. Well, it's deliberate when the economic situation in Ghana is analyzed in isolation. And that's from Owusu Roberts, siding with what the concerns are from the side of government. And then also, so I salute you, Honorable Mutala, and that's from Malik Danlax. You know him?
If I knew, he would have called me Comrade Mutala.
Well, we're taking a break. When we come back, we'll be looking at, it looks like some rift is developing between the majority leader, Oseche Mensah Bonsu, and legal practitioner, entrepreneur, and also media mogul, Gabi Asare Atredako, who is also the legal advisor to the finance minister as he appeared before that ad hoc committee. Why is that situation developing? Right after the break. Do stay with us.